The Djinn. We've talked about them. You've seen mine a whole bunch, and you've seen gameplay footage of one. But we thought maybe it might be time to show you how we built one. If, you know, you're into that. It works pretty good. Okay, you're all going to have to deal with a little audio distortion in this video because it's hot in Nashville. But we're going to talk about the Djinn. So we have all of a Djinn kit up here. There's some pieces you can't see. This is the full printed SMG variant Djinn kit available on our Etsy store. But we're going to kind of work from the inside out. And we're going to start with the regular kit, which is right here on the table. So this is everything you're going to get in the regular Talonaxe Armories branded Djinn kit. You're going to get a Talonaxe Armories branch fly core, which is a modified OFD Noid core, where the channels have been modified to handle wires without the little cover that is in the standard version, and the plate for the brushless wheels. You will get the standard size motors we've been using, the 1404s, I believe. Though these look to be a little off balance, so I'm going to need to fool with that. You will get the ESCs, pre-wired, ready to go, and jumpered. You will get a pre-programmed Arduino Nano set on the control board, which is also pre-wired and ready to go. These are your power leads. They'll be pre-soldered. The only thing that will not be pre-soldered and ready to go to connect to this board specifically is you will need a neutron solenoid from out of darts. We don't include this in the kit because it would increase the price of the kit by $50, and it would increase the cost of shipping the kits due to the weight of the solenoid. So buy one from out of darts. You'll also want the high rate of fire spring for the solenoid. It works better. You can run it without it, but it works better. And then in this bag, you will receive all of the various pre-wired switches, doodads, and gugas. So you'll have your trigger switch, pre-wired and ready to go. Your screen, pre-wired and ready to go. Your main power switch, pre-wired and ready to go, with both a power end and a to the board end. Naturally, the to the board end matches the connectors, right? Male connector to female connector. Okay, it's pre-wired. These have been updated in later versions. We now have the blade type connectors on these switches so that it can easily be removed for maintenance. You'll see why when we get to assembly. And you'll get the encoder, right? Which has to go into the unit. I also noticed that when Alan, my erstwhile partner in crime, sent me this kit for this assembly video, he failed to send me the encoder knob cover. So we're going to have to print one of those too. But this is what you get in the basic Djinn kit, which is here on a cutting board, for the record. Why? Because I like it, and we were going to get rid of it if I didn't take it, so I kept it. The Djinn prints are composed of the lower, right, the actual body of the Djinn, which in this case comes with the switch bracket, because this is going to use the little switch, not the big switch. I personally prefer the big switch, but I'm a big guy. The big switches would be more in this size range. They take up more space in the electronics bay. That's why Alan's trying to get rid of them. You will have your mag release, which fits into your Djinn like so, and mates on both sides. Do I have this backwards? I think I have this backwards. Mates on both sides going through the holes, and no, I'm gotta go in the right way. And we'll sit in there like that. You'll then put in two M2.6 by 10 toy screws on either side. Right? You'll have the Djinn upper. It simply snaps into the lower, like so, and then your muzzle goes on. The muzzle will hold it all in place with 3 screws. An additional screw goes in right here. For our purposes, building the SMG kit, that's not going to happen until the SMG component goes on. You have a grip connector, which closes the electronics bay. Again, this is the model that goes with the SMG kit. So it's got the nub for the SMG channel. And you have the front electronics bay cover. This is the biggest change from our beta build. This is the best idea that came about. Because what that means is this board is going to come to live right in here like this. So if you need to update it, if the firmware is out of date, if you want to change the little song that it sings, you can take this cover off, right? Because this cover is going to be right here like this. Jack into that board and program it. Lickety split. Super cool. Really like it. Big fan. And then, of course, we have the battery stock, right? We built a bigger stock for it entirely to house a larger battery. Alan has thumb screws on both sides of it. You don't need thumb screws on both sides, but it's Alan's way. Double redundancy. He's a big fan. So, 2 thumb screws. That'll open the door. And this is a TPU buttstock. So, fun fact, this unit will be for sale at Survival Fest. I am currently referring to it as Project Lemon. So, get the lemon line. But let's start putting this thing together. I'm going to start with some easy stuff before I jump to the electronics, which is just fitting this back into place and putting some screws in it real quick so that it is mounted, because it doesn't interfere with anything else, and it means that we don't have to deal with it in the future. Should really get some magnetic screwdrivers at some point. Though these screws aren't magnetic anyway, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Wouldn't do me any good. Now, got that one started. So you've got 2 screws on each side. One screw that actually structurally connects to the other side, and one screw that is there to strengthen the actual plastic, right? It's just acting as a metal reinforcement piece, kind of like putting a piece of rebar in concrete. I think after Survival Fest, I'm going to reprint my Djinn lower, because I really like this picking it out in a contrast color that we're doing now. I like that a lot. So to make sure this works how I want it to work, I'm just going to slot the little stiff slug slime. Big fan. Super great stuff. try that again. Okay. That'll work for now. Okay. So, this thing, Alan has explained to me a dozen times or more how it all goes together. But you're going to watch me kind of fumble through it live because I can't remember right now. But we're going to assemble it all. And I think we're right. But we're going to put the whole thing together and give the whole kit a test before we hand it all off to Alan. All our signal cables plugged in. And now we're going to get a battery. We're going to test this thing. Okay. Okay, good. They're going the right directions. That was my whole concern. Sometimes these get set up wrong and they don't want to go the same direction. So, let's put it together. Okay. Like I said, you have to solder just one thing. The XT30 connector. Some random lengths of little heat shrink. Grab a couple of those. Do we have more red ones and black ones right now? Yeah, more red ones and black ones right now. So grab the red ones. Put them on here. Fire up the iron. Okay, that's the only soldering on the whole project. Right there. That easy. We made it as approachable as possible for all of you. So. You know, heat, source of heat for that heat shrink, huh? That's good enough. Okay. So the switch goes in the box. The box gets closed, like so, and the box fits into the assembly. Right? It can only go in one way. It fits perfectly. Everything works. This is going to need to end up its life down here. And we're going to bring it alongside that cable track. The encoder, screen, and power switch have to go through cable channels that are hiding in these bulges. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my switch ready to go by mounting this switch. Okay. See if that fits comfortably. It does. Nice and snug. So these two connectors are going to go here. Well, let's thread them. So we're going to thread these through. We're also missing the cap on the screen, so we're going to have to print one of those. Missed a couple of the minor prints, Alan. Okay. So these are going to come out here. And we're going to go ahead and wire them up. Encoder's got to go in there, which he sent me without a nut. Okay. Have to do that later. There's the encoder. And we're just going to try to go down that same cable track with our power. Oh, I think the other one's, no, the other one's the same size. So in the original version, you couldn't see what you were doing here at all, whereas now you can tip it and look down into the cable tracks. That's kind of nice. Okay. Switch in place. Now this is going to run away down through this to go to your power. I don't know that Alan made this long enough either. I cannot remember which orientation this needs to be in. Luckily, we can check that by applying power to the system. That's what I thought. So this one is going to go in the other track, like I said. Give it its own space. It's kind of important. And then slide it up up into its position. There we go. Now, we're supposed to have a little bracket right here. It appears, wait. Is it in this box? This bag of random? Yes, it's in the bag of random. We're okay, everyone. It also contains some encoder knobs. Again, I'm going to need some M2x6s. No! Okay. Now this power cable feeds into your grip, right? And it's going to come back through the grip, right? And then back through the grip again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to build you an extender for that, lucky purchaser. Okay. Now, we have to get all our other electronics into place. So we got cut off there, battery died, we're back to it. We're gonna put the solenoid in. We're yelling at the dog because the dog keeps barking. So you guys are gonna have to deal with that coming from downstairs. Okay. Okay, so two things you want to do when you're putting one of these solenoids together. The first thing you want to do is Loctite this nut, because if you don't, it will come flying out the end of the barrel. That's true of any Noid core, anything that uses a solenoid. Just a little dab will do you. Way less than I just used. Way less than is running down my finger. Blue Loctite, it's not forever, it's just for a while. Okay, that's on there. The other thing you want to do, like we talked about, is we're going to go to the high power spring. So take off the C-clip, whatever you call it in your neck of the woods, because I know there are some weird names for these little things, and just ease it off there. Don't let it go flying. You're going to need it again. You know it, I know it. And if it had its way, it would find a new zip code to live in, because that's what these C-clips do. We were running double sprenoids on here at one point during alpha. There was some binding, it didn't work great, but these high rate of fire springs, that turned out to be our answer. You're going to put that on there via whatever method you believe is best. Mine is, of course, pliers. Okay, that's on there. Now, introducing my Noid to my core. I'm going to use some 8mm. More than enough. Reintroduce these 2.6s to their homes. This is probably high alignment, yeah. Most of the time it's the high alignment. I think I use the normal alignment in mine, but I'm a weirdo. Mine works a little differently than everybody else's because it came out so early. Okay. Tips and tricks at this point are few. The objective is simply to get everything into the electronics bay clean. So this has to go in the eBay. The eBay. Okay. All of our electronics are now on board and need to go in the bay. They will slide right in. They don't hate me. Good. The trigger needs to come and ride alongside, right? Just so. Just so. And then it should all just slot into position with a little help of the mag release. Yep. And is an 8mm long enough? Here's it is. I just want to get a couple of screws in this right off the jump to just cinch this thing down, but I think I'm going to want 10mm. I haven't built one of these since I built mine during alpha, so this is kind of an interesting experience for me because there have been sizable improvements. 10 in right here. Oh yeah, that's the good fit. Can take out this random 8 that I used just to get this thing stuck in. Okay, 4 more screws. There we go, there's bite. One more and we have a secured core. Well, truthfully, we had a secured core at like 2, but there we go. So, this is technically with 2 wires plugged in here. Well, more than 2, several, but where is my trigger? There is my trigger. So I don't really want my trigger tangled in between my ESCs. I kind of want it to come straight in. So I'm kind of feeding it around here to get it down beyond where I want it. Okay. So I'm going to plug all the electronics in again, just to make sure they all work and we're in an alignment. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of feed my cables, my ESCs up into the underbay here, which is where we tend to kind of pack them in because they fit pretty well in there, kind of one on top of the other. And I should have done that before I fed everything through, but you know, I was excited getting to show you guys this. So this cable is going to come around and go right here, right? Just like it did on the outside. This one's going to go right here, just like it did on the outside, right? We're going to kind of get power justified. We brought it in on its own side for a reason, right? So it can go right here, just like that, okay? And now this whole board can live right here like this. And the electronics bay door, which we talked about, right? Greatest innovation in this project, can go right there like that and can get snugged down like so. So, at this point, this should be a functioning Djinn. So let's put a battery to it. Mag release is good. Power down. I am going to have to make an extender here. Alan just did not make it long enough for lucky buyers' needs. So I'm going to make an extender there. And I think I'll put an XT60 on this, because with the battery stock, you can put a big boy 3S in here. So, top goes on just like that, okay? And in order to hold the top on in this layout, this piece has to slide into position, like so. And then there's one screw right here. And what's going to hold it on short term, when we make that jumper, is the muzzle. The 3 screws in the muzzle actually hold the 2 halves together. So you get one in the top half, which my brain likes to call the crown. And then you get 2 in the bottom half. All right, turn it on with no power to it. Ain't gonna do nothing, is it? Okay. Okay. Let me fire up the iron again here, even though I don't want to, and get this connector done. Figure, what, 6-8 inches will do it? Yeah. More. So, when you're soldering correctly, for the record, solder should flow. Your working piece should be hot enough that the solder moves on its own. If the solder won't move on its own, you're not hot enough. And that's the most common mistake I see, is people trying to brush solder onto things, right? Like it's a paintbrush. It's not a paintbrush. It doesn't work like a paintbrush. Don't use it like a paintbrush. Positive is flat, negative is round. Positive is flat, and negative is round. That goes there. Again, Alan's got these just monster thumb screws on here that he's made with knobs. The knobs look really nice though, so I'm gonna give him a pass. All right, that's a little tight, so we're gonna go this way and feed the jumper through, plug the jumper in, pull through, come on, with the jumper, there we go. Everything goes together just how it's supposed to. Screw this in. There we go. And I'm going to go get a battery adapter because I don't want to charge another battery. Plug it in adapter, right? Just put an XT60 on here. So you can use a big boy battery. And then this, just, you know, I made it way too long. I acknowledge this. That is my failing. Alan just needed to give me 2 inches, and I decided to give you 8. Right? But, you know, maybe you want to put a belt on it or something. I know somebody's working on one of those right now. Some kind of battery stock style PWM module thing. So I'm going to have to get a couple of things that didn't come with my kit. I'm going to have to print the plastic nut that we have to go on here so I can then fit the cover. But Limon lives. I will print that nut and get this thing fixed, and then I'll go ahead and finish her up. But there it is. How to assemble the Djinn by Talonaxe Armory and Detroit Dartworks. Thanks, everybody.